Arches National Park is located in the dry desert of southeastern Utah, just north of the city of Moab. This park is home to over 2,000 natural arches, carved from sandstone layers by wind, water, and erosion. Local and international visitors can enjoy breathtaking views of these natural wonders throughout the year. Some formations are just off the road and are accessible to all people within a short distance on well-traveled trails. Other arches can only be reached by driving distances on four-wheel drive roads or after long strenuous hikes along sandy washes. Like any hike of this nature, you should be prepared for the adventure in the desert. First, hike with a partner for safety and leave word where you will be traveling in case of an emergency. Personally, I enjoy hiking with family members and close friends. Second, carry a cell phone with you. However, keep in mind that you might not get any reception, so don't depend on it. Third, be sure to have the right clothing and footwear for the hike. Light, breathable clothing is best during the summer, along with a hat and sturdy hiking shoes. Fourth, carry plenty of water because you can become quickly dehydrated without it. Having a few snacks can give you energy too. Fifth, take a small first aid kit with you, particularly on longer hikes in case you get injured. Sixth, pack a detailed map of the area you are hiking, along with a compass and/or a GPS to locate your position. You might need them to navigate through unfamiliar terrain. And finally, take nothing home with you, except for pictures and memories. You can protect these areas by leaving all rocks, flowers, and other objects for future visitors. Okay, let's begin. Hello, everyone. My name's Carl Roberts, and I'll be your teacher for this class, Intercultural Communication 311. To begin with, please look at the syllabus in front of you. You should all have one by now, I think. This class meets on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 3:15 to 4:50. We will be meeting in this room for the first half of the course, but we will be using the research lab every other week on Thursday in room 405 during the last 2 months of the class. This is the text for the class, Beyond Language. Unfortunately, the books haven't come in yet, but I was told that you should be able to buy them at the bookstore the day after tomorrow. Again, as you see on your course outline, grading is determined by your work on a midterm and final test, periodic quizzes, a research project, and classroom participation. My office hours are from 1 to 2 on Wednesdays, and you can set up an appointment to meet with me at other times as well. Okay, let me explain a little bit more about the class and its objectives.
So, do you want to be a hero today? Well, there is a great need for blood donations around the world, and you can be the means of saving lives. According to the American Red Cross, over 40,000 blood donations are needed every single day in the United States alone. And without the help of volunteers like you, it is impossible to fill this need. About 9.2 million people donate every year in the U.S., and although approximately 38% of the population is eligible to donate, less than 10% of them actually do. Sometimes people don't donate out of fear, but the process is relatively simple, following a 4-step process: registering, getting your medical history checked, donating, and then having some refreshments. And once you donate, you have the ability to donate red blood cells every 56 days. So carefully consider becoming a hero today. donate blood, and you can save lives.
Hello and welcome to the University Library. This tape tour will introduce you to our library facilities and operating hours. First of all, the library's collection of books, reference materials, and other resources are found on levels 1 to 4 in this building. Level 1 houses our humanities and map collections. On Level 2, you will find our circulation desk, current periodicals and journals, and our copy facilities. Our science and engineering sections can be found on Level 3. You can also find back issues of periodicals and journals older than 6 months on this level. Finally, group study rooms, our microfilm collection, and the Multimedia Center are located on Level 4. Undergraduate students can check out up to 5 books for 2 weeks. Graduate students can check out 15 books for 2 months. Books can be renewed up to 2 times. There is a 50 cents a day late fee for overdue books up to the maximum of $15. Periodicals and reference books cannot be checked out. The library is open weekdays 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. and on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. The library is closed on Sundays.
Oh, Mrs. Smith, can I take the test now?
Excuse me? What do you mean? The test ended 10 minutes ago, and you weren't there to take it. Sorry.
Oh, Mrs. Smith, come on. That's not fair.
What do you mean it's not fair? Everybody else was there. Why weren't you in class?
My bus didn't come this morning on time. That's why.
Are you sure?
Well, yeah.
Your friend Tony made it to class, and he said you were still in bed an hour ago.
Yeah, well, that might be true, but I really need to take the test.
Wait, don't you realize you just lied to me?
Well, listen, Mrs. Smith, listen. My alarm didn't go off this morning, so it's not my fault I came late.
You're blaming your alarm clock again? It's still your responsibility to be here. Wasn't that your excuse the last 2 times you missed class?
But Mrs. Smith.
Listen, you know the policy of our program. If you miss a test for an unexcused reason, and a lie is definitely unexcused, then you get a 0 on the test.
Oh.
There are no exceptions.
Mrs. Smith, why don't you want to help me? You never help me. I mean, I really need to pass this class.
Listen to yourself. You're playing what we call the victim. You made some bad choices, and now you have to accept the consequences. Remember, when you point your finger at someone else, like me in this case, 3 fingers are pointing back at you.
But Mrs. Smith, I'll lose my scholarship. If I do poorly in the class, my parents will be really disappointed in me.
I'm really sorry, but that's not my problem.
Oh, Mrs. Smith.
I can't help you with that. Don't try to shift the blame here.
Mrs. Smith.
You painted yourself into a corner. You need to be accountable for your own actions instead of trying to weasel out of your responsibility. While you aren't doing well in my class, though, I must say I would almost have to give you an A for trying to dodge the outcome of your bad choices.
Mrs. Smith. Mrs. Smith.
Listen, you are learning one thing.
What?
My name.
Hi, Faith. Do you have a minute?
Sure, what's up?
Well, I just wanted to go over the schedule for Wednesday's orientation meeting to make sure everything is ready.
Okay. Here's a copy of the tentative schedule.
Okay.
Now, the registration starts at 8:30 and goes until 9:15.
All right.
Then the orientation meeting will commence at 9:30.
Okay. Now, we had planned originally for the meeting to go until 10:30. But now we have someone from the International Center coming to speak to the students on extracurricular activities. So how about ending the meeting around 11?
Fine. And then students will take the placement test from 11:15 until noon.
Okay.
Followed by a 20-minute break before lunch.
Okay.
And immediately after lunch, we have reserved a campus shuttle to give students a 45-minute tour starting at 1:30.
Oh, okay.
We want to show students around the university, including the Union Building, the library, and the Student Services Building.
Great. Now, how about the oral interviews?
Well, we're planning to start them at 2:15.
Oh, well, teachers are going to be up to their ears in preparations, and they'll be hard-pressed to start then.
Okay, let's get things rolling around 2:45.
Okay, here, let me jot that down. Could you grab a pen off my desk?
Right. Finding anything on your desk is like finding a needle in a haystack.
Oh, it's not that bad.
Here, use mine.
Okay, and we'll need 150 copies of this program guide by then.
Hey, that's a tall order on such short notice. How about lending me a hand to put things together by this afternoon so we don't have to worry about them?
Okay, and I think the manager has given the green light to go ahead and use the more expensive paper and binding for the guides this time.
Okay. So the interviews will go from 2:45 until, let's say, 4:30.
Okay.
I hope we can wrap things up by 5.
Great, and I think the bottom line is to keep things running smoothly throughout the day.
I agree. I'll pass this schedule by the director for a final look.
Today I'm interviewing 9-year-old Alex about her feelings on how people can help save the environment. So Alex, how can we save the environment?
By saving water.
Well, how can we do that?
By not using too much water when we wash dishes, take a bath, and when we do other things like watering the plants outside.
Oh, I think I can do that. What else?
When drinking or eating something outside, you should keep the garbage until you find the trash can to put it in, because littering makes our planet dirty. Do you like seeing trash all over the ground?
No, I don't. Do you have any final suggestions?
Yes, we shouldn't waste paper because trees are being cut down to make the paper. By recycling paper, we save the forest where animals live.
So, how can children recycle paper? I mean, every day.
Well, for example, when I was in kindergarten, I used to save the newspapers so that I could make things out of them, like paper trees, instead of just throwing them away. Now the children in our neighborhood collect newspapers once a month to take them to our recycling center.
That's great. Well, thanks, Alex, for your ideas.
Hello, everyone. Have you ever wondered what the weather is like in other places around the world? Today I'd like to talk to you about the changing seasons in my city, which was the assigned topic for this class. First of all, the winter season usually begins in December and ends in early March. The coldest month is January, and the temperatures can drop below freezing for most of this month. The city usually averages about 30 inches of snow during this entire 3-month period. Occasionally, we have snowstorms that can drop a foot of snow in a very short period of time. Winter activities during the season include sledding, skiing, and snowshoeing. Spring usually arrives in late March, and the temperatures hover around 50 degrees during the day. It is a beautiful season because the flowers start to bloom. It is also sometimes windy, and this is great for flying kites. People in my city often like to go on picnics, stroll through the parks, and play outdoor games. Next, summer starts in June as temperatures slowly rise to around 80 degrees. The summer in my city is very dry, with little rain throughout the season, and temperatures can soar above 100 degrees in August. Fortunately, the weather is very dry with low humidity, so it is pleasant even on hot days. Popular activities during this season include hiking, fishing, camping, water skiing, and outdoor sports, including football and soccer. And finally, summer changes to fall in late September when the weather cools off and the trees begin to change colors. A lot of people enjoy driving into the mountains and viewing the fall colors. It is also a time when people clean up their yards and gardens in preparation for the winter season. So as you can see, my city has a lot to offer no matter when you visit this area. We hear it a lot in the news these days. Recycle newspapers and save a tree. Collect bottles and cans so they can be reused in the manufacturing of new products. Protecting our delicate environment seems to be on the agenda of politicians, government leaders, and citizens in many parts of the world to show support for Mother Nature. The concept of green consumerism has gained momentum more and more over the last decade, and the public feels moved to pitch in and help. However, three essential keys need to power this movement include a more informed public, the development of improved technology, and a greater demand for recycled materials. The first step is to raise public awareness about the recycling process, to explain the kinds of materials that can be recycled, and provide ways on how to properly dispose of them. Local governments should educate the public on how to properly sort reusable materials from those like wax paper, carbon paper, plastic laminated materials such as fast food wrappers that can't be recycled very easily. Then a system of collecting these sorted materials needs to be established. The public interest might be there, but soon may wane if there isn't a system where they can take these materials to be recycled. Sometimes we become complacent when it comes to recycling, but when you speak in terms of actual facts and figures that everyone can understand, people become more cognizant of the problem. I remember reading one time that the energy saved from one recycled can provides enough power to operate a television for 3 hours. Give the public information they can grasp, and then you'll increase the chances of gaining followers. Second, technological progress has been made on many fronts, but governmental agencies need to step up their support for companies involved in recycling by providing tax incentives, low-cost loans, and even grants to upgrade equipment and to encourage further research. One breakthrough has been the development of a new manufacturing process that uses enzymes to help remove ink from paper in more energy-efficient and environmentally safe methods. Recycling paper materials can be expensive in both monetary and environmental terms. The difficulty in removing print from paper, the amount of energy expended during the process, and caustic waste that is sometimes produced are costs that companies incur that are then passed on to the consumer. The final key is to increase demand for the growing surplus of resources waiting to be recycled. This process has appeared in various regions of the world where the technology to process the used materials lags far behind the amount being collected for recycling. There may be a great outpouring of support, yet the great stumbling block to implementing the second stage of this plan could be impeded by the corporate sector's inability to find commercial enterprises interested in using recycled goods, especially when the cost exceeds those of virgin materials. Recycling is a crucial key to protect our planet. The three keys mentioned are important ways to achieve this end.